superficial beings. It's Blair, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you about the time that I dated a sociopath who tried to kill me. You guys are going to love this one. Now before I begin, if you could just subscribe, that would be honestly so delightful. You know, apparently if you don't subscribe, then successful businesswoman Kim Kardashian West will haunt you in your dreams and drag you to the grave like she did to Taylor Smith. So this story revolves around a gentleman called Rupert. Now, I met Rupert when I was on tour with Slipknot in 2009, and I was in Waitrose getting the boys some snacks. And whilst I was there, I was sort of perusing the selection of phallus-shaped vegetables ready for my next masturbation marathon. And I was almost dead set on an organic parsnip when he approached me holding the largest butternut squash you'd ever seen in your life, asking me if I needed a hand. And I looked at him and I said, yes. So anyway, I took him back to the tour bus and, you know, he made a vegetable of me. No, seriously though, I couldn't walk for like 3 weeks. That really should have been red flag number 1. So we started dating, and he wasn't my usual type, you know, he wasn't what I would call a well-bred fellow. Bit of a mongrel of a man, really. But his family had come into some very new money through the grave robbing industry. I mean, you'd be surprised how much people will pay for the prolapsed anus of a corpse these days. Anywho, he was very generous, you know, showered me with all number of gifts. You know, I had diamonds coming out of my arse. Literally on one occasion. But the grave robbing thing, that really should have been red flag number 2. You know, he was also quite the artist, yes. You know, he invited me round one night to his studio to help him paint. His work was very sort of Andy Warthog meets, you know, Banksy, sort of Leonardo DiCaprio kind of vibe. Yeah, you know, very sort of like modernist, postmodernist, but also very Italian Renaissance, meets Cubism, meets Surrealism, with a hint of neoclassicism. One thing I did notice, however, was that a lot of his work depicted the mutilation of 18th century prostitutes and female one-hit wonders of pop, which at the time was slightly disconcerting, but again, you know, I let it slide. Our 4th encounter was when I accompanied him to a legalised dogging campaign rally charity gala benefit fundraiser, and he introduced me to his granny. Oh, and she just died meeting me. No, literally, she went into cardiac arrest and died moments later. And her final words to me were, Are they the schnerbits? Yeah. And then she died in my arms. Well, I say in my arms, I didn't actually go anywhere near her. I just sort of stood looking at her from a short distance. But it was in that moment that I thought to myself, do old people smell like death? Or does death smell like old people? Meanwhile, throughout this whole thing, Rupert's on his phone. And I turn to him and I say, oh good, you're calling an ambulance. He said, no, I'm playing Farmville. Oh, he was a character. But, you know, ultimately a sociopath, which I failed to realise at the time. And to those of you sat there thinking, how on earth did this idiot not realise that this guy was clearly no good? You know, I'm just the kind of person who gives people the benefit of the doubt, you know? You know, I'm very forgiving, and I always try to see the best in people. Unless they're poor, I suppose. Or ugly, you know. Or they don't have plastic surgery. Or if they're a Trump supporter. Or if they're that bartender from 3 years ago who put 3 ice cubes in my drink when I specifically asked for 2.5. Or effing me squiggle-naught. Ugh. You may remember her from my last video when I was talking about how I started a drug epidemic at my high school. And it all came crashing down in front of my eyes because of fucking effing me squiggle-naught. Ugh! Stupid bitch. I mean, apparently she, like, overdosed and, like, had to be resuscitated, like, 3 times. Like, cry me a fucking river, effing me. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, yeah, I'm really forgiving, nice person, yeah, okay. He then invited me round for dinner at his 24,000 square foot home just outside of London, but little did I know that this day would be the day that he made an attempt on my life. So, you know, we'd just finished eating dinner, and me, being the big, fat, disgusting, greedy pig that I am, had 3 pistachio nuts and a teaspoon of fish mousseline. So, you know, I absolutely had to go to the bathroom and throw it all up. Anywho, I got lost trying to find the lavatory. I mean, his house was like a fucking labyrinth. I ended up going down 5 flights of stairs, through a tunnel, over a bridge, down a lazy river and on a ski lift before I eventually found a lavatory. And I was in there, you know, doing God's work, you know. And all of a sudden, the room went cold. I felt this aura, this dark aura around me. Oh, and the daggers in my mind. Oh, and the smell. Oh, I will never forget the smell. And then I saw them. I saw them in the corner. A pair of Crocs. You know, I must have been running for a good 7 or 8 seconds before I eventually lost my breath. And I was desperately opening all the doors, trying to find an escape from this fiery fire of hellfire. I ran for my life. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus.
I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's
A croc. And then, as if it couldn't get any worse, I stumbled upon something that no one should ever have to stumble upon in their lifetime. That was what I can only describe as a croc shrine. Every colour, every style, in glass boxes stacked up the walls right to the ceiling. The man was a croc collector. And I thought to myself, why? Couldn't he have been a necrophiliac? You know, I was so shooketh by this brutal and calculated attack on my life that I must have passed out. You know, the next thing I remember was waking up in hospital. It is my belief that I was in a coma for 4 weeks, and that such exposure to that many pairs of Crocs should have killed me instantaneously, but it was my strong chakra that kept me alive. Was it my strong chakra, or was it my strong urethra? I'm trying to remember what my Reiki master / nail technician Mei Ling told me. You know, none of this I actually heard from the doctors. Of course, they had some big, elaborate story about how I was dehydrated and malnourished. And I thought to myself, you lying ratbags. This chinless wonder over here has tried to kill me, and I'm being blamed, saying I was starving myself. I mean, it's a conspiracy, it really is. Clearly I was getting nowhere with the police, so I called my contacts over at MFI and got the Secret Services involved to investigate. You know, I told them about the butternut squash and the grave robbers and the paintings and all that. But apparently none of it was concrete evidence. And it turns out the paintings in question were actually just coloured blobs on a white background, and I overinterpreted it. I mean, this is where you come in. Look at this painting and tell me that you don't see Natalie Imbruglia being torn from limb to limb by 2 mutant guinea pigs. I remember clear as day he introduced me to the piece and said it was called Torn. What else am I supposed to think? Of course it's Natalie Imbruglia. Eventually, when the criminal case fell through, I actually tried to sue Rupert for £12 million in damages. But I was only awarded £13.58 for his cat urinating on me whilst I was unconscious. You know, for a long time afterwards I suffered from serious PSTDs. You know, if I even saw a croc, I would go into a state of interpretive dance while singing the 1997 smash hit Barbie Girl by Aqua. And after a lot of soul-searching and alcoholism and shock therapy, I can laugh about it now. You know, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Or, as my 5-year-old niece likes to say, if you don't laugh, then you'll fall into a deep despair of seemingly never-ending depression that will have lifelong effects on your ability to trust and experience true happiness. The story does not end there, my acquaintances. No. Because Rupert has actually decided to countersue me for defecation of character, for supposedly fabricating this story and ruining his livelihood. The lawyers have actually told me not to speak about this publicly from now on, but I feel the world deserves to know what a clog-wearing, murderous little nonce this person is. Hashtag justice for Blair. And I think that's it for this video. Yeah. I mean, I keep you updated on what goes on, you know, with the court case and all that. I mean, he's only suing me for, you know, like 6 million, I think, which is pocket change to me, quite frankly. If you found this video even mildly amusing, then please do give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Blair Stanbury, where you'll get to see content such as...
Come on my face. That's what you gonna get. Give it to me, baby. Now make yourself wet. Come on my face. That's what you like. Give it to me, baby. We gon' fuck all night.
And as always, don't forget to SUBSECBRIE. Subscribe. And if you don't, then jealousy is a disease, and get well soon. And if you're lucky, superficial people, you may see me again soon.
That's what you like.
Toodles!
Give it to me, baby. We gon' fuck all night. Come on my face. That's what you gonna get. Give it to me, baby. Now make yourself wet. Come on my face. That's what you like. Give it to me, baby. We gon' fuck all night.